class is something that you guys requested, and I'm here again with another special guest. Her name is Miss Sheena of Sheenapreneur. All of her links will be underneath this video. She is an expert in government contracting. She is the subject matter expert here on this channel for all things government contracting. And what we want to do a little masterclass on today is getting your first contract. So I feel like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, like step one of government contracting is getting a contract, or there's something that you should do to prepare yourself to get the first contract.
Yeah, so choosing your industry.
Okay.
Definitely figuring out what you want to do. I always lead with like start with what you know, or start with something that you are comfortable going into, like with something that makes sense. Now, if you've been, for me, I was in IT for 20 years in the Army. I didn't want to do IT. I knew that. And then I decided, okay, I'm doing real estate. How does that translate over to government contracting?
In your experience, does any area pay more than any other area? Because I know a lot of people out there is like, when you hear government contracting, they just immediately think a ton of money.
Well, it can be. And, and this, I guess the second step would be deciding whether you want to start with local or federal.
Okay.
So on the local side, you don't have to do all the registrations. On the federal side, the money can be, the same as the local side. It just really depends on what industry you're in. But, if you go local, that might be a little easier path of entry. So it could be still a lot of money or less money. And the federal side could be, thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. So that part doesn't really matter whether it's local or federal.
All right. You got to break that down because I got South Carolina education. So, okay, local versus federal. What does that mean for somebody that knows nothing about government contracting? What's a local government contract?
Working in your state, city, county. So if for example, in Georgia, Fulton County, Georgia is one of the largest counties. And they may need, their school system may need painting for all of schools in Fulton County. So you can bid on a contract for, let's say there's 100 schools in Fulton County. They may need one contractor to do all the painting. That could be potentially a $20 million contract if they need, regular services of painting. So local is just cities, state, municipalities compared to federal, which is obviously the federal government.
Okay. What would be an example of like a federal government contract?
Like working for DOD. Like if anyone's ever seen the movie War Dogs, when they were guns.
We don't know acronyms now. It was DOD.
Department of Defense.
Okay.
DOD. So Department of the Army, Department of the Navy, Department of the Coast Guard. Also USDA, which I don't know the acronym. I don't know what that is, but I think most people can understand what USDA is. Okay. But Department of Treasury, any
Department
of those.
Of Agriculture, United States Department of Agriculture.
There you go. I didn't know. Look, I didn't know off the top of my head, but basically, yes. So any federal agency, that's considered a federal contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So step one is deciding what industry we want to be in.
Start with what you know.
All right. Based off what we know. Okay. And now, just to walk through it for the purposes of illustration, granted, you guys can do any industry. Is it possible to do like cutting grass? Like, I don't know. That's probably not the technical term.
Cutting grass is a technical term. But like usually it'll fall under grounds maintenance.
Okay. So let's say I want to do grounds maintenance.
Yep.
All right. Okay. I know that's what I want to do. What's the next step?
So I would always say, well, if your business is not in existence, then you need to register your business.
Okay,
like wherever,
get an LLC.
Get your LLC, EIN. If you need a business license or any other type of, sometimes they have like pest control or whatever when it comes to, what is it called with the pest stuff. Well, like when you spray for like weed treatment and stuff like that and bugs in the grass. Anyway, so if the applicable license is for cutting grass or landscaping.
Oh yeah, a pest control license.
Is it pest? Okay. So
I'm assuming somebody will tell us.
Right, somebody will tell us. Mm-hmm. So you start with that. It could be grass cutting, it could be grounds maintenance, it could be landscaping. It's kind of interchangeable depending on what the solicitation says. So you register your business. I would always say just start local if you can. Mm-hmm. So you look through your local municipality's website. For Georgia, they have a site for the whole state, which lists all the cities, all the counties, within like that one
county.com or like is that sam.gov?
No, sam.gov is going to be for federal, but for example, for the state of Georgia, you would just Google Georgia procurement.
Okay.
And that
so they can do that in whatever state you're in, your state procurement.
Right.
Government contracts or just your state
procurement.
Okay.
Or doing business with the state of Georgia, something like that.
Okay.
Depending on what state you're in, that's how they use the verbiage.
And you guys don't have to Google how to spell procurement, but we told you what
procurement.
Oh, you gonna spell it? Oh.
Pro, Pro, Cure, Cure, Ment, MENT.
Okay.
Procurement. So yeah, so basically you would do that, register your business with whatever the state agency website is, and then look through the bids, look through to see what they have open, and also they'll usually have what's already been closed.
Okay.
So if there's nothing for grass cutting or landscaping, then I would look through closed bids or awarded bids to see if they have anything for grass cutting or landscaping or grounds maintenance.
Okay, let's slow it down. So
Yeah.
like, granted, I don't know if you do groundskeeping or not, but
we do. Foresight Industries does that, correct? Yeah.
All right. So when you're looking through bids, we want to see things that are still open. And are we just looking for whichever one pays the most money? Or what's your mindset when you're saying I'm looking through these bids? Are you looking based off of money? I don't know if it tells you like distance or time or anything like that. What do you look at to say I'm going to bid on this? Or do you like, I'm going to just bid on all of them and see what I win?
There may not be all of them. There may only be one, and it might be due in 2 days or it might be due in a month. So of course, at this level, my determining factor is how far out is it? Like right now it's the holidays, so I don't see my team really, I don't demand that they work on a whole lot of stuff during the holidays. So right now, if I was to go on a website and see grounds maintenance, I'm going to see if it's due to middle of January or something like that. So then that's the first step, and then seeing maybe if there was any previous bids about that particular contract or that solicitation. So then I'm going into the awarded section of that website or the closed section of that website to see if there's anything similar. Right. So then I'm looking for the last date for questions on that solicitation, the new and open one.
Oh, so you can ask questions and get clarity about like what they want done?
Correct. So if it's not too late, because you might find it's due tomorrow, but you're like, I really want to go after this one. It's probably too late for the questions.
But the listing will tell you how long you have to ask questions.
It'll show it on the solicitation.
And it's free to ask questions. Like just so you guys know, it's free to go to the sites. It's free to see the solicitations. It's free to ask questions for clarity. So we out of a whopping $0 so far.
$0. Okay. Just your time. There are maybe 1 or 2 states where you do have to pay to see the bids. I have heard that. But for the most part, you don't have to pay anything up until this point. So I find something is due January 15th. That gives me enough time. And then I evaluate it based on whether they need licenses, how much do they need the service? Like, is it every week? Is it every day? Is it multiple times a day? Is it in multiple locations? And then, what type of documentation do they need? Some of these solicitations is ridiculous. Like they'll need your personal finance statement and all this other stuff. If they need like a lot of financial stuff, I feel as if they're targeting a specific company. Okay. So when they're targeting a specific company, you usually don't have a chance. All right. With that solicitation.
So that's a nugget, you guys. So if we sit there asking for, well, if I'm a newbie, I don't know what's a lot and what's not a lot.
That's true.
So you're saying like personal financial statements is a flag that's a lot. Like, so what's average that, okay, if they ask this, that's pretty standard.
If they're asking for insurance, if they're asking for, of course, your business credentials, resumes. I mean, if it sounds like you really have to give them, your first and second born, then it's like, I'm not sure about this. And as you start to see more, like say you just took a weekend and you look at 5 of the same type of contract or solicitation, and you see this one, they need your first and second born, and then the rest of the 4, they need nothing, nothing of the sort. Then you're like, okay, maybe this is a bit much for this type of contract.
Okay. Is social security number, like, is that a red flag, or EIN number? Or is that pretty standard? You got to give out?
Social, no. Okay. EIN, absolutely. And there's a few other things that you would have to give out, but again, if you see it in multiple solicitations, it's probably accurate. Okay. That you're going to need that all the time.
All right. So grounds maintenance, we went to it. Also want to clarify. So we told you could type in your state procurement, but you don't have to only bid on things in your state, because we're in Georgia right now, but you can bid on things in Alaska if you want to.
As long as you can fulfill it. Don't tell those people that you can do this Alaska delivery and you've never been to Alaska. You don't even know how the logistics work. So that goes back to knowing your industry, or at least knowing someone that knows the industry that you trust.
All right. So if you were starting over today, like you would focus on whatever state you lived in or whatever state you know people in, got family or whatever.
And that's what I did.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I wanted to start here because if someone didn't give me my money, I wanted to be able to drive up to their office. That was literally the reason why I do have state contracts in other states. because I did know someone in the vicinity, but I did start out super local.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So be aware of that, you guys, because somebody might say, well, I see this contract for a whole lot of money, but it's in California and you don't know nobody there. You never been there. And even
you don't know the laws and you don't know the laws in California, like as far as like staff, employee and stuff like that. They have a lot of different laws in California and New York.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Are you looking for jobs that are small enough for you to do now? Like, let's say if you were starting back, like when you started, were you by yourself or did you start with like a few workers? How did you start?
I was by myself.
Okay. So would you look for contracts small enough that you could do by yourself?
No.
Okay.
I still hired out.
All right.
So just, I was doing real estate. So I had.
And we got to go deep on that because I hear it a lot, but we don't understand.
You better not say that word that I think you're going to say.
Hire out?
No. I thought you were going to say the other word. The M word. My people on my live know the M word. But basically.
Put the M word in the chat, right? For anybody. Because her chat is here too. We'll say it when we know it. But
you don't know it?
The M word? But now we want to know it. It's one of those things that if you didn't bring it up, we would have never talked about it. But now we got it.
But you kind of like alluded to it, so it was. I know you were probably going toward that. Maybe not saying the word. No, that's not the M word. The middleman.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Shout out.
There you go.
Try
dancing. She already know.
Okay.
Look. All right.
Okay. So hiring out
is
different from the middleman, or that
middleman is a made up term.
Oh, okay.
It's basically sub. There we go. We subcontract exactly.
Okay.
So
what's the difference?
It's just a made up word. It's a both word, but people. So this is what people think when they think of middleman. They think that all they have to do is I get JT, I get casino, and I say you guys work out this deal, and I just collect checks. Okay. We all know as business people that nothing works like that. Yeah. So it's all just subbing the work out. So I knew I had a contractor that I trusted doing real estate, and he knew how to build a building from the ground up. So we just started bidding on things that made sense, floor renovations, know. So I know he could do that. So he gave me his price, put in the price. I put my money on top of his price and submitted it was RFP. So.
What does that stand for?
I'm sorry, request for proposal. Okay. So it was
I don't know none of the sexy words that's in the industry.
My bad. Yeah. So we put in a request for proposal with the county. We were the only ones that showed up to the site visit. So that makes a huge difference because sometimes you're like, well, I don't, I'm new to the industry. No one's gonna hire me. I don't have past performance. We were the only ones that showed up.
So standard is you find a bid, you put in a bid based off of what you think you could do it for, accounting for what it's going to cost you, plus a reasonable profit. And then you might have to physically go to where you're going to do the job. Is that what a site visit is?
Usually you do that before the documentation.
So before you even put in a bid?
Yeah. So like in different industries, there's going to be no site visit or limited. I'm in physical, facilities. So we usually have to have a site visit. Most of the time they're mandatory. Sometimes they're optional. I would always say, even if it's optional, you should go to meet other contractors and also, show face that, hey, I'm here.
When will I know that though?
It's on a solicitation.
Okay, so I don't have to spend a lot of time thinking I'm gonna get this and then find out later on I got to do a site visit in another state.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so they're gonna tell me up front is a site visit.
Oh yeah, it's on the solicitation.
Okay. Yeah. So keep that in mind if you guys are not mobile or not willing to go somewhere. Make sure that if it has a site visit, you could go do the site visit. And if you can't go anywhere, just don't bid on things that have a site visit. Okay, we follow you.
Yeah. So what was the next thing?
No, we were just breaking it down. You're talking about RFPs. We know what that is now. You bid on you didn't do jobs that were so small that you could do it as one person. So you went and partnered with somebody and subbed out the work.
Right.
And they gave you a price. You put your profit on top of the price.
Yeah.
You did the site visit. Y'all were the only ones that showed up. Y'all got the contract.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So with that though, another reason why, some people, especially women who are in facilities or construction, you might feel like, well, I don't really know how to do it. I'm too afraid to, use a sub. A lot of times the construction workers and people that have been in construction for a long time, they're not going to do any of the paperwork. That's one thing that I was like, well, I excel at the paperwork. I don't know how to do this drywall, but I excel at the paperwork. And that was like my selling point.
Okay.
Because they don't want to deal with the government. They just want to do the job and get paid. And, you're guaranteed to get paid. you get pretty much guaranteed to get the job once we're awarded. And then, you're not having to do any of the paperwork really, except for the agreement between you and I. So that was one of the main reasons why it was a perfect match between me and my contractor.
Okay. So would you find a bid that you want and then go find a subcontractor and then y'all together put together a bid? Like, is that the right order? Or would you say, I know I can get this?
Oh, there's no such thing as I know.
Oh,
you can
even after years of, because you've been doing it a little minute now.
Yeah.
So you would find a bid that you like, and then go find somebody that can do the work, and then put in the bid.
I usually have people I already use.
Okay.
So I have people that I already use at this point.
But if you were a newbie, assuming that those of you that are watching are brand new to it.
Right. Yeah, you would find a person.
Okay. Before you put in the bid.
Before you put in the bid.
Okay.
Or before you even find a bid, really. You should build that relationship before it even comes, because now you guys are like getting married, like married at first sight type stuff. Yeah. So it's good to build a relationship first. And I did the interview with Shanita, my GovConNOW student, and she was just Googling and calling. Okay. And found some good subs. So yeah.
Oh shoot, that's free to do too. Shoot, Google, look at reviews and call people.
That's it. And most of those people, they never done government. So they don't even know how. They don't really want to know how. And all you do is fill out the documentation, hire them, make sure they're doing their job, and that's it.
Can you either confirm or deny this statement? Like, is government contract money slow money? Meaning like you might have to wait like 6 months to get paid?
Yeah, you shouldn't be waiting 6 months anywhere. I think
if we want the ground service today, I gotta cut the grass at the hospital, the VA hospital. What's average time to wait on my money?
Now VA is different. So I guess it really depends on the agency. So federal government.
What's faster, local or federal?
Depends.
Oh.
It depends. I mean, federal is supposed to be fastest. It's supposed to be less than 30 days.
So we'll go what's supposed to be fast. Okay, so federal it is.
But I have had local contracts where they pay me every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was like
doing what?
Litter pickup. That is my favorite. Like litter pickup. If I can just do litter pickup and pressure washing forever, I would. I for real would. I really enjoy it because I can give people jobs a lot easier. It's an appreciative industry where there's trash there and there's no longer trash. The building is dirty and it's no longer dirty. So people appreciate that a lot more than janitorial and all the other kind of stuff. So
yeah, we got a video on this channel about you could make a full-time income just pressure washing. I think we said like $40,000 in like a day or
in a day,
but a whole video is on that. We ain't gonna go super deep into that.
Right.
All right. So
yeah. So with that, I mean, you would just you find it, you get the pricing, you get your sub, you submit it however it needs to be submitted, because it could be email through our internal portal, or you got to hand deliver it.
Okay.
So that process, and then you just always ask for.
Is hand delivering literally what it sounds, or can I just put it in the mail?
You put it in the mail.
Okay.
If it's enough time, because you might be working on it the same day as due.
Oh.
And then you got to physically bring it to where it needs.
So this is something I can do quick.
Yeah. I mean,
so I could find.
If you were to see it for me, okay, if I'm looking at a janitorial solicitation that's 30 pages long, and 10 of those pages need to be physically completed, and the rest of it is me putting together like a 2 or 3 page request for a proposal, like a write-up, a summary
of what y'all gonna do,
of what we're gonna do, or whatever they're asking for, and then you have 10 pages of the documents that need to be completed, and I just read it for the first time, to packaging it, and getting ready to walk out of the door. You can do that in like 3-4 hours.
Okay.
Like if you just completely focus.
Would you do, again, from the standpoint of if you were just starting out, would you do the RFP, or would you have your partner that's going to actually do the work do your RFP?
I wouldn't have them do it. That's not where they excel.
But I thought the RFP is like how you're going to do the job.
I'm going to ask him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's assuming that they don't do this. So let me not be, but in the construction realm, they're usually not going to do the write-ups the way that, but I would, so yes and no, because you want them to give you the write-up, because you're going to take the write-up and submit, make it have some flair for the proposal, but then, you need to know what to say, but then you need to beef it up.
Okay.
For the government.
All right. I want to go deep now, because I feel like a lot of you all that are new, now you understand the process. Go find a contract that you want to do. Go find somebody that can do the work. get their price, put your profit on top of it, submit it. Hopefully you win it, and then you guys partner together and do it. We were talking about federal side is supposed to be faster than local, but not always. But if it's supposed to be faster, like I know a lot of you all don't want to wait on your money, so we touched on that. Is there anything in your experience that can make me more likely to win the bid than anything else? Like, or is it just straight up shot in the dark every time?
It's not yes and no. Like the thing about the government, it's maybe, and it depends. I would say maybe one of the easier, if there was an easiest
for
way,
a new person,
brand new person, the easiest I would probably say is commodity, like products, selling products to the government.
Okay, like toilet paper,
books, mice, tables, anything. I did another interview with Brent Archie that does Archie Supply. He made $2 million in pens in 30 days or 37 days. So, it could be something as simple as pens. So if you have, but the only thing about that is you have to buy all those products up front.
Okay.
So we actually bid on a book contract. The Department of Corrections, they needed 1,700 books. They all had to be new. Some were hard copy, some were soft copy, and paperback. And we were going up against Barnes and Noble and all these bookstores and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't end up winning, but it was going to be $42,000, and that would have been literally like a turn and burn. So we get the books, either get them all together and then we deliver them physically, or get them all delivered through Amazon to the Department of Corrections. I guess there was 2 ways that you could do it, but that would have been a quick, $42,000 contract, and I think I was going to profit $15,000. And usually they pay that stuff right away when it comes to the actual products. But again, you have to have the whatever the 42,000 minus 15,000, whatever that amount is,
in cash, credit, or relationships where somebody would trust you.
And so, especially with the relationships, if you have, say, an Amazon credit card, that could go up, or some sort of line of credit with another company, like another business, like Granger, Quill, those type of companies that will give you a line of credit for your business, and you can use that. And really, you're not coming out of pocket any money up front, but you have to have the credit.
Okay.
Either business credit or personal credit.
All right. Would you, and this is not a literal question, this is just like, for example, all right, just got to be clear, because I don't want people in the comment section to go crazy. Like, if you had a relationship with another government contractor that needed the money, like, would you do that partnership? I'm asking from the perspective of, is that possible, or usually you don't need to, like, that doesn't happen a lot?
What do you mean, like, needed the money?
Like, okay, like you needed the money to buy the books, but you were going to make 15 grand profit. If you knew another government contractor, have you known of instances where they just partnered together like that? Like, Casino has the money, or I have the money, but you got the contract.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's totally normal. And that's actually what I was going to do with the books.
Okay.
Like the person I was trying to get in the government contract, and they had like a $50,000 credit card.
Okay.
So I was like, we using the credit card. Like, what were we even talking about? So, we didn't end up getting that one, but that was to get him an entry point into that. And then, your points on your card, it was kind of like a 3-fer. And then we were going to deliver. And then as soon as we got paid, boom, credit card paid off in one whop. So that only helped him anyway. Yeah.
So government contracting is like guaranteed money.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to get paid. I mean, sometimes you might get paid slow, depending on, because a lot of times when people get paid slow as well, they didn't do their part. They didn't do their invoice correctly. Maybe they didn't reach a certain milestone. A lot of times it is their fault. Very infrequently is the government just not going to pay you. Like, some people say that at the local level. I've never not gotten paid. Like, somebody gonna pay me something, by hook or by crook, by blood, whatever it is. And so, I mean, but
through prayer
or prayer, or I'm just saying. Yeah. So I've never just like straight up not gotten paid, and that's another reason why I never really wanted to be a sub, because I was like, I want my money from where the money come from, like where it's originated, because I don't want to get mad at these people.
All right, so because you point that out, I want to like ask this. Let's say I have a landscaping business. You don't have one big enough to do the job. You get the contract, and then I don't know, let's say it's a 6-month contract. I ghost you at month 3. Like, I don't know if that ever happened before,
Ooh,
but I'm saying, but that could happen. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I go shoe in month 3, you still got 3 more months, you gotta cut this grass. Like, how can you handle that situation?
Oh my God.
Is Sheena out there with on the zero
Out
turn?
there like this, boy, with a push joint, because I don't know how to ride no lawnmower. But like, I've had that happen janitorial multiple times. You know, this is a really tough, it's a tough industry only because of the amount of money.
Yeah.
Like, I think if we were selling oranges on the street, we'd be straight. But like, when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars, people act real crazy. You know, that 5 and 6 figure is what will determine like a friendship almost, even if it's a new friendship. But I've had to jump in many times, especially with janitorial. I almost had to jump in with that litter, but we had someone save us. So yeah, it happens where, you know, that's why the middleman strategy is what really messes people up, because you'll get a contract out of state. They don't know the sub. They don't know how the sub works, their work ethic. You don't know what the sub is doing behind your back with that agency. They could be cutting you out of the contract and you don't even know. So with that is, you know, you have to keep your eyes and ears to your contract, so you can at least know, you know, stop it before they go. You know, there might be a reason why they're going ghost. Maybe they're not getting paid enough, and you can mitigate that, you know, before they leave.
All right. Hey, so Sheena also has her community here. We're going to dive in and out of some questions that they may have. Again, this masterclass was inspired by you guys saying what you would want a masterclass on. So continue to let us know, hey, I want to fill in the blank masterclass, and we're going to continue to give you this game. And then, you know, government contracting, to me, I've heard people say it in a lot of different ways, but the funniest way I heard it referred to, they was like, government contracts is like the best thing since reparations. Like, this is how you gonna get your big bag, your generational wealth money. You know, if your goal is to get 6 figures, this is a real way that pretty much anybody can get it. All right.
It is. It really is. I second that. I really feel like out of all the businesses I've had, government contracting gets you to 6 figures the fastest.
Okay.
So, and then you don't have to necessarily do, you know, all the work.
All right.
So that was my biggest thing.
Yep.
So you got some shout outs, JT.
Oh, yep. Pass me my phone too, if you don't mind.
Alicia Fuller. Okay. You got some Country Hustle 101. Okay. Business Talk with Kay. What's up, everybody? Shanita at Pesticide. That's my girl right there. She's the one that won the 4 contracts in 90 days. She said Pesticide.
That's dope. How much is that? How much is 4 contracts?
So I think she had 1 pending. So I think it went up to 250 for 3.
Oh yeah, that's real good.
250 for 3.
So I want you guys to know, like, hey, you don't have to get like 100 contracts to make $100,000.
For real. Like, and look, so, you know, I know she's comfortable with us sharing her story at this point. She was an accountant. Okay. So that's how she knew how much money people were making. Oh, yeah. She's like, I can do facility management, no problem. Okay. So here goes a question from Tri Denson. Is there a difference in compensation when doing local versus state? Okay. So local is state. Okay. Local contracting is state. So it's state, counties, cities, school system. That's all local. So when people say municipalities, they say local, they say state. It's pretty much interchangeable. Oh, she said versus, well, federal. Yeah. So the compensation can vary.
Click right here for a second.
Okay, so I'm running through the questions real quick. We answered that about federal and local. What's the next question? What's the best time to get a SDV or SB set aside? When you know you want to do this for real. Don't go get it right away, because you may not want to, or it might take you so long to do it that you end up not even doing bidding on anything. So that's one of the biggest things. Let's see. Can you cover real estate? Not going to cover real estate because this is about government contracting. Is it possible? Here's the next question. Is it possible to bid on veteran set-asides without being a veteran and without subcontracting? No.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to subcontract or give it the work to a veteran, then you can't get an SDVOSB.
Okay. Should you have money if you're going to get into, like, because I've heard people say in the past, like, I could have no money, but I could bid on something, partner with somebody, and then we both eat whenever the money come in.
Yes and no. The only person, if the person can do the job. Okay. So I know there's some people that they'll ask me, you know, I'm new to my business. Mm-hmm. Sheena, can you mentor me? And then we win a contract and I'll give you a percentage. Well, what am I really getting? Because I'm the one that's going to help you with the contract. Yeah. So why, you know,
just get it for yourself.
Respect. What do I need you for? Especially if you're new. Now, if you're an industry titan, like I had a guy call me, he's like, I see a SDVOSB, service disabled certification. I'm a fencing guy. I've been doing fencing for 10 years, but I don't know anything about government contracting. Mm-hmm. He calls me, he's like, can we go after it? Boom, now you're bringing me your expertise because I don't know anything about fencing. Yeah. So, but not you are new business. You don't know anything about government contracting, but you want me to mentor you in the hopes that we win. Because if we don't win, what do I get? Yeah. Essentially. So, yeah. I think that was really all. A lot of people were saying hello. Not going over the food industry because I'm not too familiar with that. Are you familiar with the food industry?
Nah, I know how to eat it. Yeah.
Right. So that looks like that's really all the questions that we haven't already answered.
All right. So everybody here, again, wrapping up this masterclass, what I want you guys to take away from this: first, pick your industry, then decide if you're going to be federal or local. All right, I think we said sam.gov is federal, your state procurement for local. Go find a contract that you want to bid on. Once you find one, see the expiration date.
Yeah.
Find somebody to partner with. They give you their price, you put your profit on it. All right, let's quantify that. All right, if I say, okay, I'm gonna charge you 10 grand to cut the grass here for 6 months, are you gonna put in a bid for $100,000?
I would say no.
Yeah.
I also look at how much the previous contract was.
Also, I can go back and see what other people bid on that one.
You either ask, when you ask the question, you ask that if it's the same size and scope. Mm-hmm. You ask if it's the same size and scope. If so, how much was the previous contract?
Oh, that's a hack right there.
That's why I'm like, they're giving you all the answers. Yeah. So you can usually ask that. They usually will give you the price, or you can find it on the website already. So if the previous contract was $9,000, but my contractor quoted me $10,000, we got a problem. Because if the scope hasn't changed, very rarely are they going to increase the amount that they're going to pay. Okay. So then I asked my contractor, can you do it for $7 or $6?
What scope mean?
Oh, scope, what they are looking for. Okay. What they want you to do, the frequency, how they want it done, especially if it's talking about cutting grass. Do they want the front end, the back cut the same day or something? There may be a reason why they don't want that. Do they need the bushes trimmed? How low, how high, that type of thing. So if they're asking for that and they only paid $6,000 last time or whatever, $9,000, then we have to figure out how to do it.
So you would put a markup on it of roughly what? If they told you 10,000.
If my contractor told me 10,000.
Yeah.
So let's say that I have to go with what the awarded amount was.
Let's say the last awarded amount was 18,000. You would bid 18.
Around that.
Okay.
If it's the same size and scope.
Yeah.
So then I would ask my contractor, can you do 15?
Okay.
And then I'll put in 18.
Okay.
It just depends.
All right.
Yeah.
But if they told you 10, you wouldn't say, can they do 15?
Oh, no. If they said 10, then we good.
Yeah.
We good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it, you guys. If you're out there and you're interested in government contracting, you can now take advantage of knowing the basics. However, this is the mistake that a lot of you guys are going to make. You do not know everything. It is outside of the scope of this masterclass and pretty much any other YouTube masterclass out there for us to try to walk you through the entire process. And step one is always find a mentor. I like to cover in all of these videos the cycle of new ventures, so that way you can understand what is going to happen to most of you all. you're going to start off being a uninformed optimist. So yes, you heard about government contracting. What was your first government contract, if you remember, dollar wise?
176,000.
100 with no experience. That's your first one. Yeah. All right. So $100,000 plus first contract. Know a lot of people will be excited if they could get that for their very first one.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, and they trying to figure out what it is that they're doing. But then you're going to become an informed pessimist once you start doing this on your own, because you don't know what you don't know. Then you're going to land in the valley of despair, where you're going to say, okay, I'm completely overwhelmed here. I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm not getting the traction that I want to have. All right. Most people quit there. That's why step one is always invest in a mentor, right? Invest in a mentor, 1000%. So Sheena does have an opportunity for you all to learn directly from her, partner with her, and get to the next level. Can you tell us a little bit about that opportunity?
Yeah, so my course is GovCon Now, and I teach you about federal, local, and corporate contracting. I also have a part for my veterans. I have multiple people in the course right now that I have actually put on my IG. They have been highlighted that are winning contracts. IG is Sheenapreneur.
All right. All of that is linked down in the description below. Till next time, so much. Let's stay hustling. JT Automations. I'm gone.
Okay. Can you... All right, y'all. So there was a couple more questions. I'm sorry about that. And we have this federal. Okay, let me put the question up. So does federal account contracts one for state and local as past performance for your capability statement? Does federal account contracts? I'm assuming you mean, so there's only one capability statement. So I'm assuming you mean, does federal work, like, can that go on a capability statement? I guess. If so, yes, all your past performance is your past performance, whether it's you as an individual or your corporate experience, commercial experience, all that counts on your capability statement. Let's see. I'm struggling with sourcing and understanding the RFPs. How early did you build a team? I would like to hire an assistant experienced in government contracts. That's a really good question. The RFPs, you just literally have to read them. And I mean that in the most respectful way possible. I actually went over a solicitation with one of my students earlier today, and we literally just read it. And it wasn't that difficult when you actually read the entire thing and just think of it as I'm looking at it with an objective eye. Where are the mistakes in this solicitation? And that's almost the best way to kind of evaluate it. Because the contracting officers don't know everything. So that if you're an industry expert, then you'll know that there's gaps in that solicitation. So you read it kind of objectively. I didn't start building a team until way later, 2020. So I started in 2017, 2020. I had my first official employee. She's still with me now. And I had some other people like virtual assistants that didn't work for me. And I had my daughter working for me prior to that. And she was 14 at the time, and she was spectacular. So, because she just followed the rules and just filled in the documents. So it's going to be hard to find an assistant in government contracting because they may not be in your industry, or they may not understand government contracting. Or if you hire a consultant, they're going to be extremely expensive. So I would say you need to learn everything about your business first, submit a bid, or a few bids, a few RFPs on your own, and then you'll know what right looks like. So Tri Denson asked, did you do any forecasting when you won your first few contracts? Great question. No, I didn't. No forecasting. That's actually more of a long game type of question. People who have been in it for a little while.
What's forecasting? So
forecasting is like the agency puts out forecasts every quarter or every year. And they say, for the upcoming year, we're looking to do these types of contracts. It may not be 100%, but it gives you a guide. So if, let's just say, Department of Navy says they have 200 contracts they want to source for the upcoming fiscal year, whatever. And they know they want to do landscaping, they want to do janitorial, they want to do weapons purchase, whatever they put out. They usually put that out every year, every quarter. And then you're supposed to go to them in advance and say, hey, we're a veteran-owned company, give that to us. Essentially, that's what forecasting is. The only problem with forecasting is the documents are usually not accurate. And so that person who's supposed to be in charge of that forecast may have left and went to a whole different organization, but it is a good practice to have. So I don't see any more questions. And I think somebody asked about, you said a real estate contract. Okay, yeah. My bad about that. So you're saying you're asking about real estate government contracts. Yes, they do exist. I actually won a real estate contract. It was for a commercial property. I worked with a commercial realtor, and I just, I was in real estate, but I wasn't a broker or an agent. So I used his expertise. We kind of went over a little bit together with the things I didn't understand. And he submitted his license, and we went after that. And that was for a local contract. It wasn't even federal. So what he was going to do is give me a percentage of his commission. And I think with commercial, it was like, I don't know, 20% or whatever it was. He was going to give me a percentage of his percent. And it was going to be like 700,000. I was like, good Lord. It didn't end up working out, but it would have been a very nice one. So real estate contracts, they look for agents, they look for brokers, appraisers, consultants. So if you have a license you have an agent license or a broker license, it's a really lucrative way to go. Okay, so there's no more questions. I'm going to end the live. So again, this is Sheenapreneur, your favorite veteran. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will see them. And this is Vlogmas. So I will be doing another video tomorrow. And just let me know what you want me to talk about. JT, you got any parting words?
Hey, thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new. Share the video. See you guys in the next one.
Bye.